Welcome back to Isimo. If you haven't already, please check out our Patreon. For $2 a month, you get an extra episode every week. For $5 a month, you get access to our Discord. And for $20 a month, you get a shout out at the beginning of the podcast, just like these. Nat Milo, Alex Knotts, Alex Schimmel, Amanda Oliveira, Amanda Pinetto, Angie Mora, Aparni Rani, Chacaron, Chris Lozano, Christian Alvarado, David Serato, Eddie Bravo, Gabby Ferris, Hector Cruz, Ian Anderson, Imperium Sloth, Isai Facio, Izzy Sandoval, Jared Dean, Kareem, Cassandra Murrow, Laisha Ashley, Daria, Michael Zuniga, My Little Jabroni, Nia Town, Osvaldo Silva, Ozzy. Shout out Ozzy. Pedro, Rafael Flores, Rosa Alarcon, Rosie Flores, Rowan Está Muerto, Susana Guzman, Susana Priego, and Z Altino. Thank you so much to our Jaritos. Welcome back to Isimo Podcast.
My podcast.
My name is Gerardo Larcon.
My name is Dominic Angel.
And my name is Rain Reyes.
And you know what, dude? If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube, leave a like on the video, leave a comment, right?
Yes.
And, you know, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Apple Podcasts, leave a rate and review, right, guys?
Yes, please. You're making a lot of sense right now.
Yeah. You know, follow us on Instagram at Isimo Podcast, ISIMOPODCAST, right? And you know what? Why don't we just start talking about it then, dude? I forgot to mention that we have merch available. If you go to the link in the description of this video or audio, you can see our Etsy shop where we have multiple shirt designs available. Check it out. What do you
want to talk about today?
What do you want to talk about today? How you guys doing, dude?
I'm doing all right.
Doing great.
If you guys can notice, we got a new setup here, dude. I got a fucking couch, dude. Bro, I was so tired of having those two fucking chairs, dude.
They were so heavy.
I think that having the couch instead of the chairs is probably gonna be better for me and Ryan because we won't fight over the armrest anymore.
Oh yeah.
I'm probably gonna have to fight over who gets to put their arm back.
Now instead of
I gotta hold my mic. So.
Instead of punching the fucking armrest, you're gonna punch each other, dude. Hey, don't slap him like that. Was so rude, dude.
We don't have any sad sounds right now.
You ever see one of those things where like somebody like hits a baby, like they're like play fighting or something, and they're like, he likes it.
Like kids play fighting?
Where it's like an adult playing with like a kid, or they're playing with like a dog or something. They're not like actually hitting it, but they're like, no, you stop it, you're gonna hurt him. And they're like, he likes it.
Oh yeah.
There's this kind of gross video. It doesn't show anything gross, but this dad is fucking with his baby and he's like just brushing his face like, and the mom's like, stop. He's like, he likes it. He's like, don't you, little. And the baby looks him right in the eye and just takes a huge shit in his head. Like a long and the baby's staring him right in the eye like this. Like out of revenge. And it's insane.
Dude, I'm in the market to get a dog right now, dude.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
So a pug.
I want to get a pug. So it's between a pug, a dachshund, or a beagle.
Don't get a beagle.
Why?
Because they'll run away and never come back.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that. Yeah. But dachshunds, one thing that's making me lean towards the dachshund is that they have bad gas.
So you
the only thing about a pug is they have respiratory issues.
Yeah.
Oh, but you should get a basset hound because they smell like shit.
Fuck. No, I don't want something that smells like shit. I just want something that farts all the time, dude.
What?
You already have you.
I know.
You should get a bulldog.
No, I can't get a bulldog in here.
Or what's that?
In English?
English bulldog.
How big are they? Is they small?
They're just very like.
They're those the little stout ones.
They're
like,
small but large.
But dude, a fucking weenie dog, dude, or wiener dog rather.
It's like a sack of a dog.
You said.
Yeah, I said weenie, but you said.
But Chad said.
But Chad said.
I couldn't think of it.
No, I want a wiener dog, dude. So badly. You know, because I want some. You know, that's what this episode's about, dude. It's companionship, dude. It's about romance. It's about waking up in the morning and having your little guy come up to you and lick your face, dude. You know what I mean?
Like that's what I'm picturing as it licks your face, slobbers on you. Whoa!
That's how I want to wake up every morning, dude. Instead of
Don't get it plugged in because their barks are terrible. They're like that's how they bark.
That's the one thing I don't want is barking, but I want a dog to get up and just walk in the morning, dude. Right?
Yeah.
You know, you could just exercise.
I already do that though. I walk in the morning.
To the fridge. Oh, we gotta get a
Fuck you! You can't make me when I'm roasting when you're roasting me.
Okay.
We said we weren't gonna fucking what's it called?
Draw attention.
Draw attention to the soundboard, but Ryan has a soundboard now, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, it was your idea to give him.
I didn't realize it. You know, like they didn't want to make Skynet, right?
It's the singularity.
Yeah,
we were tricked into making it.
And now it makes me so upset too because there's so many things I say that you could put "that's why" on it, and you don't. That's why. Anyway, so today's episode is about dating. You know, I don't know if you guys ever encountered this, but dating, it's hard dating in LA. I'm just kidding.
You ever hear this premise?
Jesus Christ, I told you I sip those and you just chugged the whole thing.
Oh, I chugged the last one. I've been sipping it.
You been sipping, dog.
Sipping on drank.
Yeah, we want to talk about dating.
Yeah, dude. Are you guys dating right now?
No.
I'm trying my best.
Fucking stupid.
I wonder if somebody could leave a comment knowing all the sounds because we go through it on our Patreon. But if you can tell what all the sounds are, leave a comment detailing each sound.
Oh, man. I'm not dating right now.
No?
I'm single.
Conscious choice or just...
I think I go back and forth. Right now, my biggest thing is I'm just fucking broke as shit. So I don't have the confidence to like want to go out with people.
Yeah. That's why.
That's why.
So are you single and ready to mingle or just single?
Here's the problem with having a podcast is you can't just say things because then people will leave you messages and comments. But
I'm ready to mingle. That's so funny.
I truthfully, I feel like I'm at a point right now where it's like I do want to like date and like hang out with people and like I don't want to say have fun because that sounds like fuckboy stuff. But it's like I don't think I'm in a position to like have a long-term relationship right now. So it's kind of just like every now and then when I have a little bit of extra cash. But once I gain some stability, it's over, dog.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a difference, and I think we might have talked about it with Melvin.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a difference between being like sexually open and being like a fuckboy who it's like a goal to have sex. It's like you have to make a plan and like devise stories and essentially lie to people to get them to sleep with you. That's different.
We talked about it with
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even talking about like hooking up and stuff like that. Like if it happens, it happens. But like I'm more just talking about like going on dates.
Yeah.
And like spending time with people. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a relationship. And it's pretty fun, dude. I don't know. Do you guys find dating fun?
Must be nice. Dating?
Yeah.
It can be, but I have like a history of being like a serial monogamist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not a...
Yeah, that was scary, dude.
What did you think I was going to say? I've killed 16 women. Don't fucking edit that.
Oh my God. Why did you say that?
Because you guys made it sound like... I did not kill anybody.
I'm gonna edit the first part out and then you just saying.
No, well, it's just like a thing where in recent years I've gotten a lot better about like dating somebody short or like not making the decision to date somebody short term, but to like date without the expectations or without putting the pressure of, because the problem is that my first relationship was I was like fucking 12 years old, like, and it sounds fucking insane because I'm 30 years old right now, but when I was 12, I was in a relationship with somebody for 2 years, and that was the person I lost my virginity to, and like there was a bunch of like super heightened drama revolving around that. So then it's like it took me fucking years to like figure out like a healthier way to date people, because before that it was just like, okay, we're dating. If I fucking saw somebody 4 times, it was like, oh, you're my girlfriend now. You know?
Did you guys ever get told like, but as friends, you know, like, you done to go out again as friends, you know? Ever happened to you?
I honestly didn't really date in high school. There was like people that I was into. It just like never really clicked.
Yeah.
I would say it's more just like it's kind of hard to be different in high school. Kind of the same people are into, and it was also just the groups I was in were I kind of thought it was gross, but no one else in high school seen it this group. But a lot of the groups that I was in, suppose just to add this bit, because of my ADHD, I was kind of like a group hopper where I had a lot of interests, so I was in a lot of groups.
Yeah.
But all of them would like date in circle, and I found that kind of gross. Like I was in band. All of the percussion people dated each other.
Yeah.
Like when they broke up with one person, they would just date someone in percussion specifically, and it's like you've swapped spit with like literally everyone here. It's disgusting. It's like it was weird after a while. It's like how do you all of you best friends and exes?
To be fair, if you play a wind instrument, you're swapping spit all the time.
Hell yeah, dude. And the way I play the drums is
With my tongue.
So it's same thing with theater, dude. Everyone in theater. I wasn't part of that mess though, dude.
It's bonkers.
But I feel like that's natural, because it's like you're spending the majority of your time around those people anyway. If you're in an extracurricular thing, then it's like, that's why football or like athletes and cheerleaders are like people in fucking orchestra or people in like cross country, or I don't know what fucking teams there are. Yeah.
Well, also too though, I did get told that they would rather be my friend, and it was a girl I was dating for like a year, you know, but she had a boyfriend on the side, right? She had a boyfriend before we started dating, but she was going to school where her mom lived, and like her boyfriend was going to school somewhere in North California, right?
Yeah. And
so, or NorCal, watch out, I'm all fucking hipster, dude. You guys like NorCal? I don't, because I'm in the South. Okay. No? All right. I don't know why I
what are you
do
talking
this.
about?
I know, yeah. So
who made you?
So one time she said, she was like, because she had told me she loves me, right? Right? She's like, you know, I love you. We were like 19 years old. Vampire chick, right?
Okay.
And so one day she was like, oh, Gerardo, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. And then
now that you mention it.
And then I remember saying to her, like, that makes no fucking sense. As a 19-year-old, just like, why? You know? Why make the distinction? Does it matter? I think it does. Women are watching this like, yeah, you fucking idiot, you know?
That was like a funny thing for me, like in high school, because I don't want to say that I was super aware of it, but sometimes I'd be like, I know how we sound and look like, and the intensity and like drama that's in being a teenager is like way more than is necessary.
Yeah.
And it always looks funny to me. Like, that people have like, that's why shit like Twilight does so well, because that's how they think that things are. And so you're a child. You look stupid.
Yeah, that's annoying, dude. It's annoying when people try to make their own movies in real life.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Gerardo didn't know this whole time. I never said that I was in love with him. So, gotcha, right? No? Anyways, what else can we talk about? What is it like dating neurodivergently? Is that a good adjective?
No?
When you date in a neurodivergent way.
Or adverb. It's an adverb, yeah.
There's a lot of trains.
That's why. That's why.
What kind of trains?
Yeah. Like, do you have sex
Love
with...
trains.
Okay.
High five.
Love trains.
We need a
oh, what's it called? But, I don't know. Are there, like...
I mean, like, I have jokes about it. Like, honestly, the biggest thing is just kind of slowly easing someone into your neurodivergency. Because there's two ways to do it where you can be upfront about it at the beginning, but that can have a lot of like negative effect. It's a thing of like you'll be rejected more often off the bat because some people just don't want to deal with that in their lives or don't understand. Or you can ease someone into it. It's kind of not the same thing, but I guess an analogy for it would be like in a job interview, you don't want to state right away that you're autistic or neurodivergent because they might judge that off of you and use it as an excuse to hire someone else. Because that's the thing about discriminatory like hirings is as long as you can't prove that that's why, they can like under the brush just say, well, this person was just more qualified, more available than you were. And that's why we picked him over you, not because of the other thing. And it's a similar thing where it's like, I'm not shy about being neurodivergent because it is, you know, I've gotten like comments of people like, why do you have to make autism your whole personality? I'm like, because that's how my brain works. It's literally my whole fucking personality.
Yeah. It's like brainstorming. The center is autism, and then everything else is off of it.
It's a personality disorder, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like that's like if someone owned a stick shift and you complain like, why do you always have to drive like you're using a stick shift? Like, because that's how the fucking car works.
It's a stick shift, dude.
I can't make it automatic.
Yeah.
Why do you always write with your left hand?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you always have blue eyes, you fucking jackass? Like, no. I thought that was gonna be funny. I saved it. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of the biggest thing about. The other thing is, I don't want it to lead to that fucking show, but dating other neurodivergent people can be complicated because it's a case by case basis. It's not the same for everyone with these disabilities, but sometimes symptoms can overlap and conflict with each other, and personalities are just like dangerous. Not dangerous, but like they don't mesh.
Like magnets.
Yeah.
North Pole, South Pole.
Autistics like magnets.
They like, you know, train magnets. But
Train magnets.
So, do you think it's disrespectful to not go on another date with somebody if you find out that they're autistic?
I mean, yeah, I can understand the idea of, I would say it's perfectly valid to say that you don't have room in your life to accommodate somebody. You know what I mean? Like if dating this person has to put certain aspects of your life on hold so that you can take care of them, like you can choose in the dating stage not to be on board with that. That's different. But if it's a thing of like when people say like they don't date redheads, that's a little bit arbitrary and a little bit like not objective. What's the other word? It doesn't mean anything to have that rule. It's kind of a dumb rule to me.
Yeah.
Because you don't know like what that means for them. And there's a lot of people I will say this is a weird thing to know, but it's because some of these people are my mutuals on TikTok. That like anyone could be mutuals on TikTok. It's fucking a fun app. But there's porn stars that are autistic.
Porn stars?
Yeah.
Oh. There's
like people in every aspect of any field that eventually you'll find someone who's autistic. You just didn't know that at first. You know, like I always use this analogy because it's the one in the back of my head. But Dan Aykroyd has autism.
I knew
He's
you
a
were
porn
star.
star.
He's a porn star.
I'm just kidding. There's like this whole secret Reddit. No. I just mean like there's people that you've known forever that have autism and you just didn't know beforehand. That doesn't change that person afterhand. They're the exact same person.
Yeah.
So it's like if you go on a date and you like someone up until they say they're autistic, they're the exact same person after they say that.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to like them because of the autism. You know what I mean? Or at the very least, I would say it's worthwhile it's just as worth it to explore that as if it was someone without. And I would say that's similar for most cases with neurodivergency. Some of them are different. I can't speak for everyone. I can't speak for every neurodivergency or every person with a neurodivergency, but I would say that more often than not, it's at the very least not a reason to just immediately walk away.
What's more ew to partners, being Mexican or neurodivergent?
What's more what?
Ew.
Ew? Like gross?
Yep.
I don't know. I would say
For you, I'm just kidding.
For the people, so to like kind of reel in the answer. Specifically addressing people that would have at the very least gone out with me the first time, I would say it's usually more the autism.
Yeah.
But I have experienced, like, there's this thing, because I also date guys, where this has at least been my experience, and I've met quite a bit of people that kind of agree. So far, it hasn't been challenged. But in, like, the LGBT community, in the gay community specifically, gay men, fit like white dudes hold themselves like on the highest pedestal. They think that they're the goalpost for everybody, and they kind of act like that when they're dating, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I would say in that aspect, I would say race is usually a factor more often than not. But I've also experienced that dating. There was a girl that I was like into. We were in this gaming group, and she said that she wasn't into me. Like the same thing you were saying, where it's like we're really good friends. We got along. We had a lot in common, but she just like didn't have those feelings for me, which is fine. It's completely just fine. Nobody ever has to justify that. But one thing I thought was odd was like there would be other people that were similar, like similar connections that she would at least try, even if it didn't work out, she would at least like date them the one time. And the only defining factor was I was the only brown person in the gaming group. And that like later on came to like, that was a hunch, that was a vibe I got. And then later on there was like evidence to that fact. Like she lets things slip that made her kind of seem racist. Yeah.
Like she said the N-word.
Yeah. What about you? Do you think has anyone dated you just because you're Mexican? Because that's happened for me.
Really? I don't think to my knowledge, I haven't dated anyone specifically because I'm Mexican.
Shout out Ricky Macias, but he clued me into something before.
What did he say?
There was this girl I was dating, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, she likes fat Mexicans," and then it all made sense. Right after
That's why.
That's why, dude. Yeah, dude. I was like, whoa. Yeah. So she had
And you're like, Ricky, I'm not that fat.
for real at the time I wasn't. I was like probably my skinniest I ever been. But after he said that, I realized. And then we were watching TV one night, and I asked her. I was like, do you like me for me, or do you like just like what I am, not who I am? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she got upset at the question. I was like, oh, Jesus, it's because I'm fat and Mexican.
You should have said, how do you feel about Gabriel Iglesias?
She's like,
how do you feel about Luis Guzman?
Right? He's not Mexican, though, is he?
No, he's Puerto Rican, I think. He's a good actor, though. He's very funny.
Yeah. So it's been true for me where it's just because I was Mexican.
What was she?
White. Mm-hmm. From Wisconsin.
I will say one time I've never gone out with someone who dated me just because I was Mexican, but I like flirted with someone, and I ended up like not making them feel bad, but we joked about it afterward, and I kind of mocked them for it. But they liked accents. I don't even speak fluent Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but certain words like I'll pronounce how they're supposed to be pronounced, and she got turned on by the accent. She was like saying something else, and I was like, I was like fucking with her. It's like tortilla, and she's like, ooh. I was like, are you fucking serious? You essentially got turned on by the word toast. Like, calm down.
I thought you were gonna be like, I'm not an animal in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever dated somebody's dated me specifically because I'm Latino, but have you been like somebody's first like Latino partner?
I'm not quite sure.
I have. It's weird.
Well, how is it weird?
Well, it's like you're introducing him. Like, a lot of the times, you're the person that introduced him to the concept of fucking racism.
Yeah.
Like, not that they didn't know what it was before, but it's a conversation that I've run into, not even just personally, but like I've heard about a lot, where it's a thing of like they're not aware of, like something small like getting followed at the store because you wore a hoodie and you're brown, and then you point that out to them, and it's like it blows their mind, like racism is a thing.
Yeah, that happened with me. I was dating somebody, and like I had to explain. We got into a conversation. I've talked about this a few times, I feel like, but we got into a conversation because she was like reading this book that was about like city planning and on ways that like it was like what is it called, theories, or just like about how communities should be built for them to be like the most effective. And like one of the things was that there should be like diversity in income within neighborhoods. And I was like, explain to her, I was like, we got into like an argument because I was getting upset because I was like, no, like, I was like, that works in theory. I was like, that idea like is a good idea in theory, but like, do you understand gentrification? Like, do you understand that like when people move into poor neighborhoods that like they get pushed out? Do you understand that like when white people move into like brown neighborhoods that like the price goes up just because white people exist in those spaces now? Like it's stuff like that. So, and then it became like a whole big thing where it was like, it took a while to be like, oh, like I'm white. And like, this is not how things work.
Have you ever okay, so we've all dated white people before, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, did you ever get introduced to their parents or anything?
I don't think so.
Me neither.
Once, kind of, but that was that girl I told you about that she called me like her friend because she was living with her ex.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I don't think I've ever been.
There was one, but because her parents were visiting. But it wasn't like, I wouldn't even think we were like really dating at the time.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Yeah, I've never been. Most of the, I will say, I feel like of the white women that I've dated, they're all from not LA area.
Yeah.
So it's like their parents are like
in a different state.
in a different state.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't have a lot of people that I dated to pull from, but I'm pretty sure I never met like white parents before. Damn, I thought that would be interesting.
I've met old white people. It's not a good time.
No, I know. I hate that. Yeah, it's annoying. Oh man, yeah. Sorry.
No, I don't know. Well, the thing is that yeah, I don't know if it would have been a thing of like how their parents would be, but I do feel like it is weird, especially like when I've been to like older white people's houses or like friends,
Yeah.
where like there's like a culture divide or whatever, where they'll like just say some stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say about like older white people like that know me, like they know I have a podcast, but they're also family friends, and they'll be like, "Yeah, so what's this whole thing about the podcast?" You know, I'm not gonna say any names, but like,
Yeah.
and then they'll say, "I'll be like, yeah, it's just we talk about Mexican culture. We don't really know Spanish." And that's the angle, and they're just like, "Wow, really? People listen to that, huh?" You know, kind of thing. Like, specifically, like over like 2 weekends ago that happened.
People are really into Mexicans, huh?
Oh,
I would say
odd.
when I talk about the podcast, I've run into that when it's like a large group of mostly not Latinos.
Yeah.
Or it's like, yeah, it's called Isimo. And it's like, what does that mean? And it's like, it's just like I try to explain it to them, and I'm like, that's fucking weird. I'm like, it exists in English too. What the fuck are you talking about? Like people saying aliciousness after certain words, like
Or est.
or
like,
just adding "ness" at the end of words.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I do remember someone was like, they wanted to tell their friend about it, and they were like, "So what is the podcast?" I'm like, "It's Isimo. We like explore Chicano culture." And they're like, "Oh."
Yeah.
And they just sat there in silence, and I'm like, "Yep, that's it."
That reminds me of when we had just released the Hot Cheeto episode, and I met some white people, and like I was explaining, because I was like upset for like a week after that, like, and listening to because I was listening to like other podcasts about how they were covering it, and I was explaining the situation, and it's like, oh, it's about the Hot Cheeto story, and they're like, what about the Hot Cheeto story? And I'm like, well, there was a guy that Richard Montañez is said the whole thing, and then I was like, yeah, they're supposed to make a movie about it. And then first of all, like the first thing that this woman said was like, well, that doesn't even sound like a good movie to begin with. And I was like, you fucking
Yeah. What the fuck?
And then I was like, yeah, and then they're saying that he's lying, and then they're like immediately just take fucking Pepsi or the LA Times side, and I'm like, you don't fuck. I was like, you don't understand how important this story is to our community. But yeah, I don't know. White people are tripping, dog.
White people suck, dude.
But it's crazy. Well, to that point of like, so for a while out of high school, like most of the people that I dated were white, right? Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't until like recent years that I started dating more like women of color. And now I kind of make it a point to like prioritize like dating women of color, for like reasons like this, where it's just like kind of somebody's on a similar wavelength, right? I don't know how well you're in a relationship, so I don't know how it is for you, or if you've even had to think about that, like before you like were in a long-term relationship, you know? What do you guys?
When it comes to dating white women?
Yeah, or just, yeah, like, do you...
I think I did it because they were around.
Well, that was... Okay, see, that's the point that I wanted to make. Or, like, that's what I had wanted to say, was that for a while... So, like, now I'm like, oh, I prioritize blah, 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 blah. But, it, like, for a long time, it was just, like... I felt like it was harder to date, like, Latinas and date, like, women of color for a while.
For sure.
Yeah, and, like, just, like, at the time, I wasn't prioritizing white women at all, but it was just, like, that's who wanted to date me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's harder to date women of color.
Well, I mean, in Rancho Cucamonga, where I grew up, there's a lot of white people, dude.
Yeah.
And that's basically who I was surrounded by. There was one Mexican chick, or no, Nicaraguan. And, but she made it very clear that she had a boyfriend in Texas. And I'm like, okay, you don't have a boyfriend. You just don't want to date me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In Texas. Which is where I learned about long distance relationships.
That's farther than Nicaragua, fool.
But yeah, no, for me, it was just a matter of convenience. And then I dated my first Latina and I was like, well, this is different. And then, I did it. Now I obviously in a relationship with my girlfriend and it's like the best thing I've ever been in, you know? Why that one? But yeah.
I'm trying my best.
You know, so I find Latinas to be way more interesting to me now. Like I said, a matter of like we were talking about before, like when you're younger, you just like are acting like you're in a movie, dude.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh man, you know, like this is a red flag. I have to confront the situation. I need to tell Gerardo that he's a friend of mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where now it's more realistic. Like you make compromises in relationships and then you realize something about yourself where you're like, oh my God, why did I never do this before? Why did I always want my way? You know?
Yeah. No, I see that. I don't know what I meant when I say like it's harder, but like it's harder in terms of just like, I don't know. I feel like women of color have to deal with so much more bullshit that it's like you have to be more like a lot. I don't even want to say you have to be more present, but it's just like they're already dealing.
It's more
with
of a shared experience.
Yeah,
you know. I could talk to my girlfriend about being Mexican, as opposed to informing somebody about being Mexican. You know
exactly.
And she, you know, it's not like it's also I don't know what I've realized is like comparing and contrasting is kind of pointless. You know. Like more so just, I don't know how to say what I'm saying, but like comparing each other's struggle is kind of pointless in a way, as opposed to just sharing your experiences where it's like, oh, that could be true too. As opposed to being like, well, I had it worse, you know, the one-upping game. Yeah.
I don't never try to like compete.
Yeah.
It was just like a thing too. I mean, because the thing is that I've definitely, as a man, have like been in situations too. Like I shared that experience with like the white woman that I was dating about gentrification, but there's like definitely stuff that I've had to like understand as a man that just like women in general have to deal with.
Yeah.
So I do. Yeah. I mean, it's better to, I think the difference is just like having to like, having somebody to like somebody can sympathize, but then to have somebody that like can actually empathize and like understand where you're coming from is like a lot more
rewarding.
I don't want to say rewarding.
What's
but
the word?
I don't know. It feels better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Validating.
Validating. Yeah. Like somebody that can actually like understand your feelings, because a lot of times too, it's like, just as an example, my I don't know why that this is the example that comes to mind, but my friend was like, his girlfriend had called him because somebody spit on her, like as she was in public, and he was like, well, what did you do? Like, why would he spit on you? And she was like, I didn't fucking do anything. Why would you ask me what I did? Like, this asshole like spit on me.
Yeah.
And it's like stuff like that where it's just like the first thought is to be like, well, what were you doing, instead of like trying to understand like, I'm fucking dealing with something right now. Like, this happened to me. And I don't know why that was the example, but it's like having that somebody that you don't have to constantly be explaining things to. I don't know. It's a hard thing. It's weird now because I'm dating, or like I'm open to dating. And so it's like having to think about stuff like that is very interesting for me, because I feel like in the beginning, when I was younger, in my early 20s and up until recent years, it was just all about like finding somebody that would stay with me. And then so I would like just do fucking anything to like give all of my attention and effort into like making sure that that person was like accommodated and happy and all that stuff. And I just like threw myself into it. And so like recently it's like having to understand like, well, what are my needs? You know, what are the ways that I can grow as a partner, and then what are my needs that I need from another person to be in a relationship? Yeah, you know, to make things work. So it's definitely interesting, and it's crazy because it's like I definitely want to be open to everybody, but then whenever like I'm talking to a white person, just in general, not even like romantically, it's like I have to have that stuff in the back of my mind. You know, like, are they gonna fucking say something racist inadvertently, or just like not understand? And you know, I'm always willing to talk about these things, but it definitely is like tiresome to have to constantly explain yourself. Yeah.
You know what's wild? I'm trying to remember what happened exactly, but Miguel had given me advice about my relationship, and it's nothing drastic or anything. It was just some small thing of advice. And so I told my girlfriend about it, and I was like, but Miguel's single, you know? Like, I don't know when the last time he had a relationship was. And then my girlfriend said, but single people give the best advice for people in relationships. And I was like, what? Right? Not what, like, that's not true, but like what? Like, I never thought of it that way.
Because they tell you what not to do.
Right?
Because they're so lonely.
Well, I feel like that too, because it's like I feel like in theory I understand like how to be in a relationship, but also it's like I have not been in a long-term relationship like almost ever. Yeah. Like,
sorry, I was gonna let you finish. I was just gonna say I do also think it's like when you're not actively in a relationship, you can be What's up?
Keep going.
You can be more objective to the idea.
Yeah. When you're not actively in a relationship.
Yeah, because you can see things from the outside.
Yeah, see, that's what she was saying. And then I didn't say, like, that's not true at all. I was like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Yeah. But still, you know, check your source. It's Miguel. Just kidding.
But that's the thing, too. I felt like that, too, where I've talked about, like, relationship stuff. Like, when we were having the Mexican Candy, like, the Zoom meetings, and it was, like, 6 of us, and I was, like, one of 2 people that was single. And, like, we were talking about relationships, and then I was, like, saying my opinion. Or it was, like, how do you guys feel about Valentine's Day? And then I like was like, oh yeah, I think it's cool. Like, I think it's like a good day to like set aside. And then I was like, but also I'm fucking single. So like, I don't know.
I remember that year. I was walking to the stupid story. I was walking to the bus stop. I was walking to the bus stop and someone had just texted me Happy Valentine's Day. And I'm like, I don't need that shit. I like just broke up with someone. And then I'm waiting for the bus and I turn around and there's this bush. And in the very center of the bush, a wide bush like that could fill this room. In the very center of it was a heart that big made of tiny flowers. I was like, fuck you, Mother Nature. Why are you trying to make me feel bad? That's it. That's the end of that.
Yeah, I've had 2 Valentine's Day now with a girlfriend.
Hell yeah.
Trip. Yeah. I mean, I've never had a long-term relationship other than the one I'm in right now, and you know, it's crazy. I love this. You know, I love my girlfriend. It's wild.
That's awesome.
Because you know the one thing, like
what's that like?
What's that like?
When my brother was born, like I got upset and I was like, fuck, because I like, you know, it's a weird feeling of like loving somebody that much, right?
Right.
I can't imagine having a kid, right? I'm sure there's like another level to this, but like everything my brother would do, I would just be like, he's the funniest person, or he's like the best person ever, you know?
Who made it?
My parents having sex. But you know, and it's wild, right? Having that feeling. And then like my relationship has slowly turned into that feeling also, where it's like, God damn it, like this is my best friend. It's so funny that it's like upsetting. It's like, fuck, you know, like I love somebody so much. Yeah, I fucking love you, you know? Which I don't know, maybe you guys feel that way about each other, being brothers. Like,
I mean, he's all right.
You know?
No, I mean, I do.
Mustard scent. No.
Fuck you, bitch. I don't know. I feel weird. Obviously, I love my family. I'm very close with Ryan and my older brother.
Yeah.
A lot. Diego, we're on the outs, you know. I'm just
They're
kidding.
getting there. Honestly, that was the funniest thing when we went to El Paso last year. Like, as we were approaching, we were maybe like 3 hours out from our final destination. And I don't remember how it happened, but Dominic, in that moment, found out Diego was into Slipknot. And it was just like like immediately a bond formed between them. And we listened to Slipknot the rest of the way there. It was really funny.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this about road trips, but if you're driving over like 4 hours, there comes a point in the trip where it's Slipknot time.
That's not true at all.
It is.
No.
Yeah. If you're driving nonstop somewhere, Slipknot time, dude.
You know what's wild is that me and my girlfriend went to San Diego this weekend.
How much Slipknot did you listen to?
0. So, but on the way back, after we got gas in Mission Viejo, we didn't listen to anything the whole way.
That's insane.
Right?
That's crazy.
That's weird.
I mean, you guys are weird, dude. You guys are weird.
Who made it?
You guys are strange.
You drove 4 hours without listening to anything?
Complete
4
silence?
hours? It was an
How-
hour.
Wait,
That's
from where?
different.
From Mission Viejo.
Oh, an hour is still kind of long. Were you talking?
Honestly, like, I would even say from San Diego to Mission Viejo, we weren't really listening to music.
What were you doing?
Talking.
Playing I Spy?
I want to tell you
Playing
guys can tell me.
vampires,
Yeah, playing vampires. You guys can tell me to cut this out if you want to, but you guys did a vlog in El Paso, right?
Yeah.
You guys weren't talking the whole time. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this?
You weren't?
No.
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. There was like we were like recording everything.
Yeah.
It was easier to just do it nonstop. So there were large chunks where we were kind of just looking at the scenery. But we ran into this one bit, and I think I deleted it. It was the funniest thing. We kept trying to mess with my little brother. It started off was like, "Hey, Dio, you see that mountain right there?
Yeah.
That's Satan's asshole." And we just kept naming body parts every time we saw a weird shaped mountain.
But you didn't send me that, did you?
No, I got that.
Because most of the footage I got was just you guys filming things, and I was like, "What do I?"
Oh, yeah, because my little brother filmed on his camera, and then I did the audio. I did send it to the group thing.
No, I know I got both of those things, but there was you guys didn't really talk at all. So for me, obviously, I talk way too much, right? So it's like, you know,
I mean, I didn't say it.
I said it. So you know, that's just, I guess, you know, but that's what we're talking about here. You guys listen to too much Slipknot, is what I'm saying.
You don't listen to enough Slipknot.
Is that Slipknot?
It's Disturbed.
Oh, okay, that's
Disturbed.
shows-
Corn's the one that's. Da-da-da-da.
Anyways, this is why you guys are single. All right. That's why.
So are you
Say it, fool. Are you what?
sorry, I changed my mind. No, but like, so where do you prioritize? I don't want to say like your relationship specifically, but like, how is your views on relationships like developed? Like,
So that's a good question, because I used to be upfront about my priorities, and you know, and the thing about it is, like, I'm talking about women I just started dating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm telling them, like, look, you know, I'm a comedian. That comes first, unfortunately, you know, and then second is my podcast, also, like, it's part of my comedy, right? And then you're somewhere here, right? 3, 4, 5. And I would say that to people, and I'm not saying that it's a good thing. Obviously, that's not a nice thing to say to somebody, right? Especially if you were trying to find, like, have them find you attractive, right? But I was just upfront, and that's where I was in my life, and I did that, and I think I did that with my girlfriend too. Now, when I first started dating her, but she also has kids, so like she could understand that hierarchy of things. Now though, it's not that way at all. I don't find that anything's above my like sobriety or comedy, right? Like, meaning I don't find like that list necessary in a way.
Right.
My girlfriend is the most important thing in my life, you know, besides sobriety, because sobriety to me is what gave me everything I have now.
Right.
So those priorities have changed, but I don't see them as a list, right? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
now that I finished these things, I can go fucking see my girlfriend, right?
Right.
So I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I've been told multiple times that I prioritize relationships too much.
Oh,
Both by like other people and by people in those relationships.
yeah.
That like I make a bigger deal out of being in there. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with wanting to be in love with somebody, huh? But no, I mean, I think to a certain degree, like that idea of like prioritizing yourself even as you're like developing a relationship is important, because you like to a certain degree, like I have been the kind of person that just like, well, like even like before the pandemic when I was dating that white girl,
Yeah.
I like was like, all right, I don't need to go to open mics because like I would rather hang out. I would rather be with this person.
Yeah.
And so like you do lose sight of things, or I was showing up to work late, kind of a thing, like stuff like that. So I was like really like, you know,
All in.
and it like stuff like that. Especially it's because then I don't know. Not that you have to be. I don't want to say like you have to have something to offer or like.
In my opinion, it's not mature to just make your relationship everything, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah, there has to be balance, because you could say something for the other side. Like, we definitely know comedians that would like prioritize the mic over everything, to the point where the only way they can hang out with their significant other is if they brought them, and then that person's just like sitting by themselves for 2 hours. I think it's about balance.
Yeah, definitely.
I know when I was younger, I used to play a lot of music. You can see it on my YouTube channel. I made them public. I did private them for a long while. And then I made them public because one day I was driving with somebody and they told me, your music's really good. And I was like, everyone thinks this, right? And then so I made it public again. But it's very sad music. And I used to just like throw myself into relationships when really I was just crushing on a girl, and then they probably rejected me, and then I was like, right, making songs about it, right? Yeah. And I got tired of doing that, basically, is all I was gonna say. So I realized that was a flaw, but maybe through sobriety though.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I realized through therapy is that like even if it's your career, or if it's a relationship, or if it's whatever it is, you know, the goal is to not like your happiness shouldn't be dependent on being in a certain situation, like being with a person, being in a certain position in life or whatever. Your happiness should come from within yourself. So it kind of like helps with like having boundaries with people and like making sure you're taking care of responsibilities and stuff like that when it comes to dating. Because it's also just like, I don't know, one, you need fucking space like from people. That's normal. And then also just like, you know, like falling behind in your other responsibilities, and like just makes it harder, because there's always the possibility that you're gonna break up with somebody, and it just like it's always gonna suck, like it's always gonna feel terrible. But then if you're in a situation where it's like, what the fuck do I do? And then it's like you dig yourself into a deeper hole that is like, I don't have comedy anymore. I don't have hobbies. I don't have work. Like all I had was this person. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like harder to get out of that.
Yeah. Strange, dude. I don't even know when I stopped caring so much. Because it probably was when I was doing comedy, but when I started doing comedy, like relationships did not matter that much anymore, you know, for a little while. And then I met like the love of my life, my girlfriend now. Which is weird, you know. I don't know. What matters more to you, Ryan? Comedy or relationships?
I would say right now, because there's definitely people I'm talking to, but I wouldn't say necessarily that comedy matters more, but more that the position I'm at in my life right now, I just don't have a lot of room to do more than dating.
Yeah.
So by default, comedy.
What about you, Dominic?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm in a position where I'm comfortable even being like in a relationship. Long term. I mean, if it happens, it's also, part of it is also just like a self-conscious thing, you know, where like before I used to like make decent money and I didn't have to think about it. Like I could do pretty much whatever I wanted. And now it's like I have to really like budget and like pay attention to like stuff like that. And it's also one of the things too is that there was a period where like I like dated a string of women that had like these crazy positions like at work or whatever, like in like consecutively I dated like an architect, then a physician's assistant, and then like a somebody that worked at the United Nations. And it was like, and then I'm like,
Barbie?
it was like, and I'm a fucking comedian and I take the bus, you know? So it's like, within our age group, I feel like there's a lot more women that are like reaching like higher levels of like in professions. And it's like, for me, that's trying to do something in entertainment and creative, you kind of have to be broke for a minute, unless you're born rich and then could just pursue it. It's like you have to like work hard at the bottom before you get reach certain levels of success.
Yeah.
So that's part of it, is just like I don't want to be like the kind of person that has to be taken care of, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that 100%, dude. There was this girl that owned a house and we were dating each other. And somewhere in my like adolescent mind, I was like, she owns a house, so this is probably something good for me, you know? But then she would complain about not seeing me a lot. And that got on my nerves, dude. Did I tell you about this? I told you.
I don't think so.
The girl that was like, you never see me anymore, you know? But every time I would see her, she would say that. Right? It's
I think I remember that.
Yeah. I don't want to say anything else.
Invite me over. Let me rent a room.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's odd. I don't even know what to say about it other than that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It is a thing where I'm just like, yeah, I would like to be able to at least take care of myself. You know?
Would you guys date another comedian?
Yeah.
Really?
I would.
Go for it, Ryan.
I've thought about it, but I'd have to like be super into them as a person. And it's nothing against them being a comedian. It's just
comedians are fucking weird, dude.
I've seen like couple comedians and there's just like something weird about it where either they super vibe with each other or they don't. Like they don't have, especially when they don't have the same style of comedy. It's like,
there are a lot of them that are like the couple in high school that were both like in ASB.
Exactly.
Where it was like the class president and the homecoming queen or whatever, like the prom queen, like.
Yeah, like some of them
energy.
mesh right away and then some of them just don't. As comedians, but as people they're trying to date. I don't know. I think it's probably me overthinking about it, but I'd have to be really into them as a person outside of comedy. Like if we were never comedians and we met each other and I was still into them, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be open to dating somebody like that is at the same level that I'm at, just because somebody that like, one that understands like what needs to be done. So it's like we can kind of like empathize with each other, like, and talk about these things, but also just understand like, oh, I have a gig, I gotta go, you know, kind of a thing.
Yeah, you know, I dated a comedian and afterwards I was like, I'll never do this again. It's my experience.
I feel like it can start to get competitive, no?
That wasn't a big deal because that's kind of funny, actually. Like if I do better than her one night, it's like, right, with the person.
Yeah.
But like, what was the rub of it was like, we got into the biggest arguments before we went to go do a show. That was the wildest thing.
It's weird.
Yes, very strange.
Yeah,
and it may have just been the chemistry of the two people, but like, I remember after that, like, I was like, no more comedian. This is way too much for me. Because even like I told you guys on the Patreon about, or I was telling you actually about Miguel at the show I went to in Redlands, where like, so shout out Abby. She came to see the show. I appreciate you so much. And so her and her friends, I didn't tell you, huh, Dominic?
No, he wasn't here yet.
So her and her friends came to see the show, right? Mm-hmm. And I was talking to them, making them laugh, whatever. And then I was like, I got to go say what's up to Miguel before we start the show, right? Miguel's with me. By the way, don't laugh at Miguel, please, right? A joke. Yeah. I was joking. I was like, don't laugh at Miguel. And they were laughing, and then she added on, she was like, haha, we're going to boo him. And I was like, right? I was like, perfect, do that, right? Joking. Everyone knows we're joking, right? So, but I'm different than other comedians. Like, I like joking around. My thing about going on stage is I tell somebody I'm gonna bomb, and then they go, "No, you're not. You're funny, dude." And I convince them that I'm gonna bomb, dude. I'm like, no. I had fucking oatmeal today. I always bomb when I have oatmeal. Whatever the thing is, it doesn't have to be real. It's just me trying to convince somebody of something that I'm gonna bomb. And then when they finally go like, "Okay, I guess," then I feel fucking good and I go on stage, right? I'm weird. I don't like that. Is hilarious to me. Just convincing somebody that I'm gonna bomb. Also, if I bomb, it's like I told you so, right? So kind of like, I guess in a weird way, self-sabotage. But so I go over to Miguel and I say, these people are gonna boo you. My fans are gonna boo you. Miguel looks at me, rightfully so, and goes, "Why would you tell them that?" Right? And then I was like, "Oh, it's a joke." They were laughing, and he's like, "No, go tell them not to boo me." So I went over there. I was like, "Listen, Miguel's got a lot of anxiety right now. He doesn't want you guys to boo him, please." Right? And so they were like, "Okay, we won't boo this, but we were gonna do it, dude." And then Miguel and I had a talk afterwards.
But some people would, like, they might misinterpret, like, because I don't know. I've met people. There's some people that want to be in on a joke, and they're like, "This is gonna be so funny," and they'll boo him.
Yeah, they weren't going to boo him. It was just them adding on to the fact that I said, please don't laugh at Miguel, which is a ridiculous thing to do. If it's something's funny, you're going to laugh, right?
Yeah.
So, but I can understand where I was wrong. My part in things, right?
I mean, that's also Miguel just having anxiety.
Yeah.
He needs to chill.
Yeah. I like having fun with people before I go on stage. Comedy is fun, right?
Right.
So like dating this comedian is like everything had to go perfectly before she went on stage. And that was like terrible, dude. Like we have to get certain waters before we go to the show. And then it's like they don't have those, right? Like that's everything about it was just so stressful.
Yeah.
There's
no need to be stressed before performing.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And then also there was like this open mic we were going to, and I was going to this open mic. So I told her like, I'm going to be there. Like, if you want to go with me, I'm going to be there on time. Like they pull names at a certain time. And then it turned into her picking me up from my apartment and then us driving. And then like the craziest fight we've ever been to before showing up to this open mic. And she said she's going to leave me there and shit like that. Right. That's why I don't date comedians, dude. Fuck all that. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I always hear like, I don't know. I feel like it can happen either way. It's just with anything. I feel like the thing that I want most in like out of like dating a partner is just like an understanding of like what needs to be done. Because I also understand like, so like I was dating when I was dating this architect, right? She said the craziest thing to me, which was like she moved into this apartment and it was like she was like, it's like half of my rent, but she had a job. So she had a job with a firm and then she had a job like freelancing, and then she also like would sometimes like teach at Cal Poly Pomona for like a summer course or something. So she moved into this 2-bedroom apartment that's like super fucking fancy, and she was like, I could afford it for right now, but it's like would be temporary. Like I'm only going to stay here 2 months. And then after 2 months, she like loved the living there so much. She was like, fuck it, I'm just going to make more money. And I was like, that's fucking badass. Yeah. But I was like, we would talk about certain things. And then I was like, she would like check, like you text people, whatever. And I was at the time I was living in like Echo Park area, and I was going to the PAC. Have you been to the PAC theater? They had an open mic, And so I took the bus there. I was taking the bus there, and it was just like going all the wrong places, and like dropped me off at the wrong place. Like the street was closed. So then I was like fucking running to the open mic, and I got there, and like there's a list was only half full, but the fucking host was an asshole, and he was like, yeah, the list is closed. We close it like when the show starts. She's like, yeah, you guys stay in here. He's like, get here. Like some people wait an hour, like get here an hour early. And I'm like, fuck you. And then I stayed for the mic. But then I'm watching it, and it was the whole time everybody was bombing, and I'm like, I would have been funnier than all of these people.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like so angry, and then I was leaving. And then to get back home, the fucking bus like was only going once every hour. Cause it was like, so I didn't get on the bus until 2 a.m. So anyway, all that to say, I texted this girl about it, and I told her like, yeah, it's just fucking annoying because like I caught the bus, and the bus was like went the wrong place, and then I got to the open mic, and then I couldn't even sign up, and then I stayed there, and everybody sucked. Like, and then the next day she was like, oh, that like, and then the next day she was like, hey, I think you're really cool and everything, but I feel like we shouldn't like continue this. She said like, it seems like you're still getting your shit together, and I'm just like not in a place to deal with that right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, ouch.
Damn.
But also at the same time, like I understand that viewpoint. It just sucked because it was like, I'm also like making, at the time, I was making like decent money. Like I obviously wasn't making as much as a fucking architect, but like I was like making enough money for myself, and like I was fine, you know. But that aspect of like pursuing comedy and having to take the bus and like and all that stuff, and missing an open mic at midnight, and then it just like it was like the perfect storm of being a fucking loser. Yeah. And then she was just like, yeah, you're still getting your shit together. I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild, dude. Yep. Comedy shouldn't exist, dude. It's like crazy to me.
So last night last night, obviously I was getting ready for this episode, and I went on a deep dive of like all of my high school friends. Yeah. And a majority of them, like people that I was in drumline with and stuff, and just like so many people are with their high school sweethearts, still married.
Did you ever have a high school sweetheart?
No. I did, but it was the one from middle school, and then that ended terribly.
An MSS, dude.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what that means.
Middle school sweetheart.
Oh, middle school. Yeah. But it's so funny. So there's this thing about like being a creative person or being a smart person, and like leaving your hometown, and like having your friends from high school, or dating people from high school. It's like never leaving, your hometown or whatever. Yeah. And for a while, like I believed like, oh, these fucking losers, like these people that are still dating the same person from high school, or like that are still in the same friends group from high school. I was always like, these are fucking small-minded losers. Yeah. And then now I'm like pursuing comedy and like broke and like single, and I'm like, somebody made this tweet one time that it was like, the funniest thing about pursuing comedy is that every day you have to convince yourself that like being married and owning a house is for losers. Yeah. And it's just like, I look back at all these people and I'm like, they're so happy. Mm-hmm. Like they're so like, they just got everything figured out, Yep. They got their life, they got their relationship. Some of them have kids now. Mm. And they're just like, they go fucking jet skiing and stuff. They got to figure it out.
Yeah, dude. It's, I guess, I am more comic than not, I guess you could say. Uh-huh. It's so strange to me because like my brother-in-law will tell me like, it's fucking so sick what you do. You're able to just be yourself and be funny, whatever he says. This is not a direct quote. Yeah. And then I'm like, but dude, you have kids and like a wife. Like, you don't think I want that, dude? Yeah. Like there's these things that we see in each other that we aren't able to see in ourselves. Like, yeah, what I do is cool, but it feels normal because I just do it. but I wish I had like a kids and a wife, you know, which I, you know, I'm talking, you know, now I have a girlfriend that has kids and it's cool. And I love hanging out with the kids, you know, but, you know, you can't get everything, I guess. You always want to get what you can't have.
Yeah. You give up, you give certain things up for something else, and you just got to prioritize. Like, ask yourself what is the most important thing to you in the moment. Yeah. Anyways, well, is that it for today? What do you guys think? I will just, we could try this out.
Yeah.
Do you have, okay, we have a demographic that's younger, that might be single, that might be leaving high school or college or entering the dating sphere. So do you have any advice for young people to date?
Don't get into comedy.
That's a good piece of advice.
I don't know. I honestly just make decisions. Don't meander. If you like somebody, tell them you like them. Like, don't think about it all day long, you know? Maybe that'll be my best advice.
That's a good thing. Like, communicate with somebody that you love them, that you like them, that you're interested in them, instead of like, because I was like that when I was younger, where it's like I would crush on somebody and then it'd be like, never just be outright with it. Because the thing is, like, people are afraid to like tell someone that they like them because they're afraid of being rejected. But it's going to be much worse if you just like drag it out. Like, just tell them how they feel and then respect how they feel. And then, like, just move on. Like, if you can't be happy being friends with somebody, just move on. Yeah.
Also, too, if you tell them you like them, then if they say no and you fucking hate them, then you never liked them to begin with, right?
That's true.
So
you like the idea of them.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe you're just, I don't know, figure your own shit out. Clean your side of the street first before you go fuck somebody else's street up. Right?
Yeah.
That'll be the biggest advice that I wish I would have known before. But like I also did put that into practice. Like, there's one girl I told that I liked via text message, which is the wrong way. I don't suggest doing that. But she said like she doesn't like me, and I didn't feel any different way about her afterwards. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you know.
Right? Yeah. It took me a while to realize that too.
Yeah.
To like not fucking like cling on to this.
Exactly. The idea. Yeah. Or, you know, you're married in your head, but in real life, she's like doesn't give a fuck about any relationship with you. You know.
Yeah.
Also, the people that you're around when you're young are not the people that are around forever. So there's no need to have them a part of your life. That was the biggest thing. Like, you know, I'm being extreme here when I say that, but like, that's one thing I try to impart to my brother, where it's like, you know, friends are friends, you know, family is family in a way. Yeah. There's a difference between the two.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with friends is like, obviously there's long lasting relationships, but it's just a part of life that people like, there's people that I was like, the most close I've ever been with anybody that I don't talk to anymore. And now I'm like building relationships again with other people. And it's like, it would be fucking awesome if all of those people were still my friends. And but sometimes somebody moves away, somebody gets a job, somebody gets in a relationship, and like you grow apart, and that's fine too. So yeah, like, not that there's no need to include those people in your life, but it's just like, just understand that that's part of life. That's part of living, is that like, there's changes and you got to do what's best for yourself.
Also, too, biggest piece of advice for anything aside from dating, aside from anything, just be honest. Honesty will get you so much further than the fucking lies you construct, you know?
Yeah.
Telling people you like them, even if you have good friends, like telling them that you love them, you know? Just express yourself to people. You know? Right, Ryan?
Yes. No, I was trying to think of the story because you said that, and I remembered during COVID, once, like every 2 months, I would send all of my friends this video of like, thank you for being a friend. It was the Golden Girls theme song, and that was just my way of saying I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice gesture.
I'm Betty White.
Yeah, I think the only thing, like the last thing I'll say is kind of just all ties it up, is just like take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, take care of yourself. I don't know. Relationships are not that important. Like, that's not your goal in life. Don't put so much weight on another person that doesn't even know they're carrying it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, well, that's been today's episode, right? If they made it this far, what do they comment? Jesus Christ, Ryan.
No, he has that in the Patreon.
What's a good pickup line?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's a good pickup line, dude? That's a good one.
Dude, there's this show called Letterkenny that I'm super into, and there's an episode, the first episode, the main character is dating again. He just got broken up with, and they think of a lot of really good pickup lines for that. Like, one of them was, on a scale of 1 to America, how free are you tonight?
That's pretty good, yeah.
I've told you this before, but just to have it on the podcast because it's funny. During the quarantine, you tweeted a joke that was like one of my favorite jokes that anyone's ever said, which was what rhymes with quarantine. And you put, I don't know, maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah.
With like one of those like sly faces.
Yeah.
I use that for like Tinder openers.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Nerd. Yeah, I'm fucking quarantined, dude. That's just all crazy.
Yeah.
I suck on Twitter too, but yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was a really good joke.
I don't know why that does well. It's like, that's fucking stupid.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Also, it never worked as like an opener, but I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah. What's a good pickup line?
Pickup line?
That's yours. That's your pickup line.
I don't know. That I would use it. I would still use it. If you see me on Tinder and I use that pickup line, that's where I got it from.
What's it called? Are you from Nashville? Because you're the perfect 10 I see. That's hilarious. That's ever since I was a kid, I've heard that. But you know, everyone's heard that one. Okay. Anyways,
now I'm trying to think of. I know it's like it puts me in a mode of trying to think.
I'm not a pickup line, but this one fucking nerd. But I copied him, I swear. This guy was part of the math clubs. He gave his girlfriend an equation that had two variables, I and U, and when you solved it, it was I is greater than 3 plus U. It says I heart you.
Oh, okay. Nerd.
That guy also made an origami heart that beaded when you pressed on it, and I was like, fucking bitch, why are you so good at these things?
Oh my god.
You're making me look bad.
Well, anyways, is that it?
I think that's it.
How you guys doing? Good?
I'm good.
It's fucking hot.
It's getting warm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing this fucking crazy ass jacket, dude.
Yeah, why did you put on...
Because that's his dating jacket.
This is my girlfriend bought this for me.
It's a nice jacket.
Yeah.
It looks really nice. It's just like 90 degrees in this fucking room.
Oh, yeah. It's hot as shit in this jacket. I'll tell you that right now. But from us at Isimo Studios, don't fly!
It's my podcast.